In Norfolk is at the centre of a row over an advert seeking only Polish-speaking workers. The firm, OSR, was looking to employ 60 staff at a meat processing firm at Great Witchingham, near Norwich.
It says it regrets the error, but the matter's now being investigated by the Equality and Human Rights Commission, which described the advert as unacceptable. Malcolm Robertson reports.
There are almost 1.5 million Polish people living and working in this country, thousands of them in our region, some of them working in factories like this one. And the fact that there's been a recent advert asking for Polish-speaking staff to work here has certainly caused a bit of a furore. It's since been withdrawn, but this is what the advert looked like. Appealing for staff at a meat processing factory near Norwich, it said applicants must speak Polish. To work for Forza Meats at Great Witchingham, they leased premises from Bernard Matthews following a recent fire at their headquarters in Yorkshire. The advert was placed in the windows of shops frequented by Polish people. It was sent out by the recruitment agency OSR. Today, director Mario Bardwell admitted they'd got it wrong by concentrating on Polish workers.
It's with regret. I mean, we obviously placed an ad which was, let's say, inappropriate now, but it was to just seek out a certain type of worker for the start of this contract.
This controversy comes in the light of a recent BBC documentary about Wisbech, which showed that local people were frequently unwilling to do unskilled jobs taken up by migrant workers. Can you see how some people would be upset, the inference being that you were perhaps looking for Polish staff over and above British staff?
Well, yes, and of course that was the misunderstanding. Probably the advert hadn't been written correctly or probably very wisely, and therefore, of course, people put their own interpretations around it. And we regret the distress and annoyance it's caused.
The advert's being investigated by the Equality and Human Rights Commission, which has recently published evidence of mistreatment of migrant staff working in the meat industry.
It is unacceptable. It's just as much a breach of race relations law to discriminate against British workers as it is to discriminate against any other workers.
Matilda Setlak runs a public relations firm in St Neots that targets the Polish community in the UK. She's not surprised by the advert.
I hear about companies that wish to employ Polish-speaking people because maybe they know the Polish people they have got good reputation for their work and work ethic and because of the attitude.
A lot of Forza's meat products are produced for Asda. Forza's managing director told me the advert was down to a misunderstanding and that they had recruited British and Latvian staff at Great Witchingham as well as Polish. He said they were still deciding whether to use OSR recruitment agency again in the future. Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News, Norfolk.
Well, it's just gone 13 minutes past 6. We're about half. Well, more news now from your part of the region, and a bronze sculpture erected in honour of a 15-year-old girl from Essex who died in a car crash has been stolen from the grounds of her former school.
Camilla Hamilton died when her best friend crashed into trees in 2003. Now her father is offering a reward for any information that leads to the recovery of the statue and the arrest of the thieves. Martin Stew reports.
It's nearly 7 years since Camilla Hamilton was killed. The 15-year-old from Essex died when a car being driven by her old best friend, who was also 15, crashed into trees near Halstead in 2003. Since then, her parents have fought to keep her memory alive.
Camilla had an academic scholarship here at Felsted School, but her real love was sport, and in particular hockey. She played for the school team. She was even the captain of the Essex team. And it's for that reason her parents, David and Janice, decided the best place for her to be remembered was right here by the pitch.
In the summer of 2004, a bronze statue of Camilla, designed by Suffolk-based artist Brian Alabaster, was placed here. Engraved on the hockey stick, Camilla's motto, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars." On Wednesday night, the statue was stolen. Head teacher Dr. Mike Walker showed me the tracks it's thought the thieves would have left when dragging away the heavy life-size bronze.
It beggars belief, really. It's a memorial to a student. I suppose those who took it wouldn't have known that, or might not have known that, and I'm quite sure they were targeting it for the fact that it's bronze, and therefore they were looking at the value of the metal. Mr. Hamilton, the father, is very keen to put out a reward for the statue, because it feels like almost a second loss in terms of someone taking away the image of the daughter. We feel very much for them, and we do hope it's recovered.
Camilla's parents didn't want to be interviewed, but told us they're absolutely devastated and numb with shock about the callous theft of a memorial to a daughter they describe as popular, happy and full of the zest of life. Martin Stew, Anglia News, Felsted in Essex.
Police are hunting 3 men after a shop worker was shot in the face with a ball-bearing gun during an armed raid at a convenience store in Ipswich. The 43-year-old man tried to stop 3 masked robbers running off with the till from P&G stores in Orford Street on Saturday night. All 3 offenders were white and wore balaclavas and dark clothing.
It's very shocking. In history of this shop, we didn't have any problem, even shoplifting or anything. Even the neighbours shocked as well about this incident.
A man is in hospital with what police describe as life-changing injuries after a crash on the A134 at Newton, near Sudbury in Suffolk. It happened shortly after noon near Newton Green Golf Club and involved a red Vauxhall Corsa and a white Mercedes Sprinter van. The Corsa driver suffered serious leg injuries and was taken to Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge by air ambulance.
Investigations are underway at this time. We would make an appeal for any witnesses to come forward and make themselves known to us. One of the casualties has left the scene via air ambulance to Addenbrooke's with life-threatening injuries.
A second woman has died after an accident earlier this month involving a Brazilian circus troupe who'd been performing in Great Yarmouth. One woman died and other members of the troupe were injured after a transit van collided with their caravan while it was parked at the side of the A11 at Fulbourn in Cambridgeshire. They'd been on their way to Italy after performing at the Yarmouth Hippodrome.
Stansted Airport handled almost 11% fewer passengers last year, according to figures from the Civil Aviation Authority. The drop is being put down to fewer people heading abroad for their holidays.
Right, let's have a little sport now, and another boost to Ipswich Town Championship survival bid thanks to one of their rising stars.
Norwich's championship return gets closer with another win, but Essex rivals Colchester and Southend both suffer setbacks. Donovan Blake has more.
Ipswich manager Roy Keane still has to remind himself that Connor Wickham doesn't turn 17 until later this month. Nearly a year after becoming a record breaker as Ipswich's youngest ever debutant, he now has his first league goal, a vital one at that, the winner against Scunthorpe.
We're all pleased for him because he's quite popular with the other players. He's a good lad, he works hard and he's got a chance of being a top player. But there is pitfalls ahead for him, but we've got to make sure we try and guide him in the right direction.
Wickham's winner came deep in stoppage time, by which time both teams had a player sent off. But Ipswich are to appeal against Damien Delaney's red card. He's facing a 3-match ban. Peterborough may have left their survival bid too late, but they're giving it a go. A contender for goal of the day here from Liam Dickinson, enough to win them the game against Watford. Norwich fans must surely be asking themselves how soon will their return to the Championship be achieved, as City once again demonstrated their powers of recovery after an early setback. 3 second-half goals earned them victory at Huddersfield, Grant Holt, and 2 from on-loan striker Stuart Elliott. A good weekend got even better when 3 of their nearest rivals lost, including Colchester. News manager Adi Boothroyd was far from impressed. After all, his team had led at Carlisle, who played more than half the match with 10 men, but they went on to win 2-1. Southend's troubles are finally getting to their fans, who protested against chairman Ron Martin before the game with Exeter. The Shrimpers still without a win in 2010 after a goalless draw. Donovan Blake, Anglia News.
We just mentioned Ipswich's Connor Wickham. News now of a top accolade for one of Norwich's young players. Tom Adeyemi was named League One's Apprentice of the Year at last night's Football League Awards in London. The 18-year-old signed his first professional contract just over a year ago, but broke into the first team at the start of this season. Goals like this against Manchester United in pre-season suddenly catching the eye. There was also an award for Southend United. They were joint winners of the Community Club of the Year prize with Watford.
And in Formula One, Ferrari scored a 1-2 in the season's first